It's the right trigger hand of Yana Tapio. Not bad for a guy coming off an injury. He's got 1 win and a second-place finish in our first 2 races. Can he make it 3 in a row? Well, the guy he's going to have to get past is that guy right there. That's Blair Morgan. He's been king of the hill all season long. But before we go to Pro Open, let's check in with Greg Kramer, see what he's found out.
All season long so far, we've talked about Pro Open, Pro 600, Pro 440. But what exactly is the difference in these sleds? Well, let's take a look. Right now, I'm standing here with Tony Heikkinen, the legendary Flying Finn's Pro 440 sled. These are stock machines. Let's take a look. It comes from Skidoo. As you see it, they might tweak a couple of things, and down in the clutching components, they're allowed to run aftermarket, manufacturer-approved clutching componentry, but everything else is stock. The power plant, the exhaust, the whole thing is stock. This is 440cc. Now let's go over and take a look at one of the Pro 600 sleds. This is Doug Henry's sled, the Supercross superstar, who this year is running on the snowcross circuit. And interestingly enough, aside from a different manufacturer, Tony's a Skidoo, this is a Yamaha. The only real difference is in the power plant, and it's just the displacement. This one is a 600cc versus Tony's 440. Otherwise, except maybe for some aftermarket clutching stuff, pretty much bone stock. The big difference comes up right here. This is Blair Superman Morgan's Pro Open monster sled. This sled is incredibly tricked. It starts with a stock Arctic chassis and a stock crankcase in this power plant, but everything else is highly modified. The engine is a Black Magic special build. It's overboard. It has trick pistons in it. The head's completely different. Very sophisticated tuned pipes. A lot of the clutching component is heavily massaged, and the chassis itself, although it starts as a stock chassis, they have gone through it, reinforced, modified, completely massaged this chassis. And of course, at this level of the sport, weight is everything. Look at how light this hood is. This is a super trick, super lightweight hood, because the horsepower to weight ratio in open racing is key. Some big differences from stock to mod.
So now you know what the sleds are about. We promise you when we come back, we're going to show you those fast vehicles. Pro Open is up next. Kubitsky, 17 years old, 5th in the points, but he's also going for Rookie of the Year.
He is going for Rookie of the Year, and he's had such a strong run on these mods this season. He is really going to be a factor in this race. And Doug Henry, the Supercrosser, he's been for real this year.
Yes, and he definitely stays focused on no matter what form of racing he's involved in. Chris Vincent, well, his first Pro Open win came at Duluth this year. He also won at Winter X, and Blair Morgan, he is second currently in the Pro Open points. Who's first? Well, it's Nathan Titus by just 23. Here's the rest of the field as we have a total of 14 sleds in this final contest of the day.
Start is going to be absolutely key as always, and you've got such power and great launch here. Getting to that first turn is going to be spectacular. Looks like we're ready.
You can see the sun setting off into the distance. The racer's backlit, and we're underway, heading for turn number 1.
Very close. A lot of people side by side into that turn. That's Tapio running wide, trying to gather it back up and get under. Oh, Morgan just tumbled. You do not see that very often. Morgan is off his sled.
Wait, I didn't know what he was going for there around the helmet.
His tether got wrapped around his helmet when he came up. He had to dig that out before he could get going again.
Bangs on the handlebar, says, well, this one's going to be a challenge. Meanwhile, let's move up to the front of the field, and right now it's Nathan Titus taking the early lead.
And running in second, a great run for Doug Henry, of course. Last year, he won the AMA Outdoor Motocross National Championship. He's made the adjustment to snowcross very effectively. And running in third right there is Chris Vincent.
Well, if Henry could hold on to this position throughout the length of this race, this would be his best run of the year. And he's going to have to do it with some great talent coming up behind him. You can see it's Vincent right there in third place. Oh, well, they had a rider go down there.
Just a quick tumble again, that right-hander leading into those switchbacks. And if you get caught up on one of the banks there and another sled kind of slides underneath you, it can wash out the skis and you can just do a gentle rollover. I don't think anybody had a problem there. We continue racing. And look at that. There was Carl Shabinski. We've got, I believe, 3 Yamahas right now in the top 5. Great showing for Team Blue.
This would be impressive to say the least. Yamaha has not had all three sleds in the top five, and Henry's looking to the inside. Could he take the lead?
Boy, Doug Henry would have loved that moment to go by the lead rider on the Yamaha factory team, Nate Titus, but Titus was able to recover. But because of that bobble, look at this. Vincent now, Marty, has closed up. We've got a great three-race scrap for the lead.
And not too far off into the distance. The rest of the field is still within reach. I mean, this is our best race of the year so far, especially up front with these three sleds this close.
Very close indeed. You see that skidoo back and forth? Oh, Henry is off. Just overshot that corner, Marty. Went right off the outside of that berm.
Well, he said this year was an education for him, and he just got another lesson. So Doug Henry's moment has come and gone. That moves Chris Vincent into second place.
And it moves that young rider on the skidoo. I was just about to talk about him, from the Rock Maple Eastern Snowcross Circuit, young TJ Gula, very talented young rider, and he's running third, and that also promotes Shabitsky right there in the blue Yamaha into fourth. And then running in the fifth spot is 100, Earl Reimer, the Canadian, having another strong run.
So Nathan Titus, who leads the points right now, has clear track in front of him. I guess one of the questions we need to answer is, what's the sun angle doing to the course conditions now as far as these riders being able to see?
There are two moments when it is going to be a real problem for them. In those switchbacks, when they go through that left-hander and come out, it's right in their face. And also as they go into that last corner, Marty, about midpoint in that corner, they pick that glare up, and it's really going to mess them up.
This shot shows you just how wicked the roost can be and how long it hangs in the air. We got a great shot of Shabitsky there in fourth.
And keep in mind, this track right now is dry. It's not mushy or anything, but the snow is nice and soft, and you can get a big faceful of that roost. And even though it doesn't stick like being wet, it still will affect your vision. And if it sits there, and you hit that sun, it's tough.
Nathan Titus in front of Chris Vincent. These two are starting to pull away now from the rest of the field.
Nathan Titus, remember, he has won the last two Pro Open finals on the trot, and Vincent has one win from the Duluth makeup race. These two, they'd sure like to add another one to the coffers.
Well, we'll let these guys sort it out right after the break. Stay with us.
And Carl Shabitsky has come down. That's the right-hander that leads into the S's. And I don't know, I think he's looking at the sled perhaps. He may have a mechanical problem. We'll keep an eye on that development. Meanwhile, Titus and Vincent, boy, that's a great battle.
Heading back down into turn number 1. 5 laps remaining. And look at Vincent to the inside. Can he make it stick?
He just totally surprised Titus as he turned in. Titus did not think he was going to go in like that. There's the yellow flag, and that's the same corner. And he's down. He's signaling for some help. That wasn't mechanical, Marty. He's hurt.
So the 17-year-old phenom had a great run going. He was running in fourth, is by the side of the race course. And right now, the action continues, but I'm wondering if they're going to be able to get to him, because he cannot get out of the race area. I mean, he is still on the racetrack from where we can see.
Well, he's dead center on the racetrack as well, and if he's going to need some help to get off the track, I don't see how they're going to be able to let them continue racing here. And there's Vincent, and he's opening up a little bit over Titus. If they do have a red flag, that's going to work well for Vincent, because he got the pass done before that comes out. Here they come into that turn again. And you can see they're trying to get some help over there. And I believe we're going to have to see a red flag here. And, you know, Marty, I think part of the problem here, that turn is one of the most difficult we've seen on the series this year, because I talked about it earlier. You've got that jump, and then you got to be ready to turn. And if you're caught out a little bit, things can happen. And I think that's what happened to Carl.
Chris Vincent has opened up a huge lead right now as Titus is backed off. He may be wondering about his Yamaha teammate, and it is a red flag there at the finish line. So you can see that this race is going to be stopped. Medical personnel must get to Shabitsky and take care of him, as there you can see as we pan on over, and he is still down by the sled.
Yeah, when we saw him earlier looking down, and I thought it may have been a mechanical problem, he was obviously looking down at his apparently a leg or an ankle, something like that, and he's in some pain right now, and they had to go red. They had to be able to get these people out there to help.
It is such a shame. This 17-year-old was on track for such a great season. We talked about it right at the beginning as he was going for Rookie of the Year honors. Let's take a look, see what happened.
Like you see, the incident has already happened, and you see him standing up as though he's looking. That's what I thought. It may have been a mechanical, but he realized right there that that left leg, he doesn't want to move it. Something's wrong.
So it's either the right leg or right ankle.
Let's go back now and take a look at the pass that Vincent laid on Titus for the lead. And once again, it was one of those moves. Titus thought he had it protected pretty well. And right there, Vincent, you see, he's already looking. He's going to dive hard left from his perspective. And I don't think Titus thought this was going to be happening at all. Titus gets a little crossed up. Vincent lands it, and wham, he's inside. And that was a brilliant pass by Chris Vincent.
The only bad news for Chris Vincent, that nice lead he had opened up has gone for naught, as he is going to be in the single file restart with that man in the Yamaha blue right behind him.
One of the things that's impressing me about Vincent is that chest is still very, very painful. He's got a bad pull right across the upper right front of the chest, and he's doing a great job. And Shabitsky being tended to out on the track. Hopefully he's okay.
We'll be back at Valcourt after this. News regarding Carl Shabitsky.
Carl Shabitsky has a broken ankle, and it is going to have to be tended to. They're taking him into the hospital for him to be checked out, but it is broken. And it's a single file restart, and there is the green. And this is an opportunity for Blair Morgan. And look at that move by Morgan, way outside, Marty. And he is just ramping around people. He was 9th in that single file start, and he is a lot closer to the front than that now.
Looks like he's picked up about 4 positions, maybe more.
And look at that, he cuts to the outside again. Vincent trying to make hay here while he's got the opportunity, just airing it out. But that restart by Morgan, that Black Magic motor, he just absolutely hammered it, and it paid off.
Behind Vincent, it's TJ, Nathan Titus, Earl Reimer in 4th.
And right behind him, Morgan, from 9th to 4th in what, 4 corners? Pretty remarkable restart.
But Vincent has opened up about a 6 sled length lead as Titus has got his hands full with TJ.
TJ Gula, this young rider out of the eastern part of the country, doing a superlative job racing bar to bar with one of the best right now. And Morgan closing it up. Morgan's now 4th.
Morgan on a rampage. He gets second win. Whoa, he goes on the outside, almost got stuffed by TJ, holds on, and here he goes past Titus. He outjumps him.
That was just pure Morgan air. You know, we talk about how he gets the track down in the snow, but when he needs to, he flies with the best of them, and that was just launch mode for Morgan.
So the red flag turns out to be a blessing in disguise for Blair Morgan. Remember, he went down on the very first lap, and that was way out of this race. I mean, it would not have happened had it not been for the red flag. And now look at Vincent. He did a double take. He says, no, you got to be kidding me.
He did. He can't believe that. It's green 7C once again behind him. Well, you were talking about with Morgan, he was 9th, but there was a lot of gap between the riders all the way up to Vincent. That restart bunched him up, and it gave him a golden opportunity, and it's got Vincent concerned. Trust me on this.
Yeah, I think the bit's between his teeth. If he thought about easing up here on the last few laps, he says, oh, no, not again.
Well, it's just what he needs. We talked about how bad his chest is hurting, and now he knows he's got to ride absolutely 110%. There's Morgan. There is number 2, Titus, and Gula still hanging right in there.
This is a great run for Gula. We haven't given him enough credit because this is a tough division to ride in. You finish in the top 5 in this condition against these guys, you've done yourself proud.
True enough, and he doesn't run the full circuit with the WSA game. He runs the Rock Maple circuit, which is a very strong circuit in the East Coast. And Skidoo said, we'd like you to come up and run. It's our home, and see what you can do for us. I think he showed him.
Serge Audette has moved into 5th as well, so he's got a good run going.
Serge Audette, one of the local racers. He's from Chibougamau, Quebec, which is way up north. And he's come down, and he is putting on a great show. Very tough, strong rider.
Let's get back to the battle at hand. Can Blair Morgan reel in our race leader, Chris Vincent? Well, we're going to find out. The white flag is out because we are on the final circuit. Morgan really charging hard.
He's definitely closed in a little bit, but Vincent through that turn. Look at the dig that Amsoil Skidoo got out of that turn, and he quickly made up another 4 or 5 lengths. That could spell the difference right there, Marty.
That's that tough corner where Shabitsky went down, and you're right. He's got enough of a gap. There's not enough time left in this final lap. I think Blair's going to have to settle for second place, but what a comeback from where he was. after the start of this race. Here comes Vincent. There's Morgan. Heading through the final corner. Morgan behind Vincent. He sees him charging. He says, no, not this time. I've got the win. Morgan takes second. I think both of them are going to be happy with these results, especially after the way the race started for Blair Morgan.
And did you notice how very quickly Vincent tucked his arm back, his left arm up underneath his chest for a minute? That chest muscle is killing him. Let's take a look at this restart, Marty. There's Vincent in the front. Count him back. You can see that one green helmet back there, ninth, and watch the move. There's one of the sleds going to the outside, and behind him, there he goes. Morgan sweeps way outside, and he finds this smooth lane, and right here, he just absolutely tapes it around the outside, and he goes from 9th to 5th by the time he gets out of this corner and heads into the next one.
So an incredible run. Here's a look at where he is on the track when he ends up getting around these guys and moving into second place.
This is a big pass right here because he's going to come up. He's going to get TJ Gula right here. And watch what he does. He checks up, and he's got a smooth lane, good acceleration, comes right up alongside of him here, and he's going to go around here, and then he gets bumped. Boom. And he almost stuffs it into Titus, but Titus is now just a sitting duck because Morgan has some exit speed. And watch this explosion over this double. Morgan wants this right now.
So in 2 corners, he goes past 2 other racers and into second place, and that's where he finished up. The winner of the Pro Open here at Valcourt, Chris Vincent. Blair Morgan second, Nathan Titus third, Earl Reimer ends up in 4th, Yana Tapio in 5th, TJ Gula in 6th. Let's go down to victory lane. Here's the race.
It's called championship form oftentimes when a racer wins driving through an injury. And Chris Vincent, a great win today, but we know you're hurt and you got that badly pulled chest muscle. How you doing first?
You know, I'm doing okay. You know, when you win, that really helps out with pain, and you kind of forget a few of those things, and it really makes it worth it. But no, I'm really sore, and I'm sure later on this evening I'm going to be really sore. But it was great to win here at Valcourt, you know, right here in front of Skidoo. It was great to do that for him, and what a great time, and what a great race. You know, the race was really long with the restart, and that adds a lot of emotion to the whole thing, but it was a lot of fun to be out here racing.
Once you got out there, you and Nathan Titus got into a great battle for a while, and after that restart, Blair came on, but you hung on to it.
Yeah, it was great. We could hang on to it. It's really fun racing with Nathan. Nathan's a great rider, and he was a teammate last year, and I think we really work well out there racing against one another, especially when I win. You know, that means we work really well together. But no, it's fun racing with him, and he's a great guy, and he's running really well in the open points. And it was a great race, and I really enjoyed that part of the race.
Winning here in Valcourt, that's huge. Nice job.
Thank you, and it was great being here.